if you don't have anything nice to say about somebody, don't say anything at all. I mean, we were taught that all as what? Kids. Um, I want these children to think of their mother as a rock star, a greatest mother in the world. And I want them to think of their father that way too. And I can't have people saying things that are going to possibly jeopardize that. It was somewhat of a disturbing picture you painted with a couple of little kids cowering in the back seat of your car. What is your, I guess, issue with Mr. Wilson's mother?
I've had concerns with her as a caregiver for them based on the incident that we had when they were, I believe, 1.5. Before that, I didn't have an issue. What happened was my son, KW, had been having some irritation with his diaper changes. And so she had been going to change his diaper. And I said, oh my gosh, let's double check that, make sure he's good. His butt's been getting red. And then within the next week or two, I noticed that she would kind of casually mention she thought that they needed a diaper change. She had been in the household helping, so I wasn't paying full attention to them. And I eventually did ask Mr. Wilson. I said, I think she's not changing their diapers. I don't know what's going on, but I'm getting the sense of. So it was a few weeks. And she actually, both of them said, yeah, she decided that she wasn't going to do that. And to me, that gives me concern for all the other decisions you're making. When we went through the divorce, I was told that that was not enough to object officially to it. And so they've been going to her. But when it was only AW who hid in the car, that immediately threw all my concerns back up.
How often, from your perspective, does Mr. Wilson travel, and what is the purpose of that travel?
So I would say it's probably 4 or 5 times a year so far. I believe in the past year, 3 of those times were to visit a significant other, and I think the 2 others were for work.
Okay. And how long is he usually gone for?
In total, or that he's not with his parenting time?
Yeah, I mean, if he's out of town for, let's say, work or whatever, I mean, is he gone for a week, 5 days, 3 days, 1 day? What's your understanding of that?
So far it's been between 3-ish days and a week.
And then his mother would in essence be the caregiver
Correct.
at that. Okay.
Correct.
What else you want to tell me?
The concern with the winter holiday, I have 2 concerns to that. The first one is that I know this is a difficult one because Yule's not on everybody's schedule, but it typically for our household runs just like a Christmas would. So we do kind of Yule Eve, if you will. And that it was written in the judgment of divorce. So it started on the 20th instead of the 21st. And the way that they've proposed it, it starts that morning. We do, wake up and Santa brought presents. So that doesn't work if we start at 8 a.m. in the morning.
So you would like that to start noon?
The 20th. The 20th, it would mirror the Christmas holiday for him. So it would be the same hours as his, only it's the 20th and 21st instead of the 24th and the 25th.
Okay.
And then the second part of that is with their proposal, I'm great with splitting the winter holiday evenly. The problem is they have it contiguously, and I can't always get my work to be a straight chunk of time off. In the past, what we've done with the holidays is just said oh, you're only going to get 1 day and then it's back to a chunk and then 2 days. We've just sorted it out so that it could flow evenly, which I'm okay with, but I'm leery of writing it down specifically like that and then having it not financially. That would be difficult for me if I have to take a whole bunch of days off. And I'm a florist, so that's one of our busier holidays.
Stands to reason. So your, I guess, solution to the Christmas break is to just leave it as it's set in the judgment?
Yes. I mean, if there's some way we can specify, I don't mind it saying split them evenly. Just that contiguous chunk could be a problem for me.
Anything else you want to tell me?
Let me just check and see if there's anything else. Oh, I would like to say that I did offer him makeup parenting time when we ran into that snafu with the kids. So I'm fully aware that I want him to have all of his time. It actually hasn't been requested. So I'm not sure where that stands, but.
You mean it hasn't been requested from you? It's apparently been requested from.
Yes. Yeah.
The folks at the front of the court.
Yes.
Ms. Pagorsh, I'll give you the last word.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Wilson has texted me during the last 2 years. He's traveled 3 times personally and 2 times for work. And as far as the break for Christmas, as Ms. Wilson's indicated, Mr. Wilson's significant other lives out of state. So he would like the opportunity to have a block of time over the holiday to be able to travel with the boys to see her, or to have her come and stay with him and the boys. That's important to him. So an every other day kind of schedule would just be problematic. And that's what we're trying to avoid over the break.
Well, let me bite this off in smaller chunks for everybody. I think the parties who are arguably very good parents, that they're ratcheting up this parenting time so much that there's not going to be any flexibility from anybody. It's too rigid, in my view. But that's up to the parties. Usually, I don't get a motion to clarify a judgment that was prepared by probably 2 of the finer attorneys in Grand Rapids. Usually they clarify it for me. I rely on them to clarify things quite a bit. But let me see if I can take this in bits and pieces. I'm going to start with the Labor Day and Memorial Day. There's no dispute that it's going to start on that Friday before. The dispute is what time. And Mr. Wilson would like 8 a.m. Ms. Wilson would like after work. And I'm going to order that it be after school. So when the children are done with school. In the same manner, because the parties have their own way of doing things as far as pickup and drop off. Same manner. I mean, the easiest way to do pickup and drop off, but the parties haven't done that here, is to just, if you begin parenting time, you usually pick up the children, and at the end of it, the other party does. But parties have somewhat kind of amended that a little bit, and I really don't have a problem with the way they amended that. Let me speak a little bit about inherent rights. MCL 722.24 charges courts with, in all actions involving the dispute of minor children's custody, the court shall declare the child's, or children in this case, inherent rights and establish the rights and duties as to the child's custody, support, and parenting time in accordance with this act. I don't know what the credentials of this professional are, and that's somewhat why I wanted to know who it was, because if that ever comes down the line, then Ms. Pogorsh can do a deeper dive on this individual. But my my policy when it comes to inherent rights of the minor children is that if you don't have anything nice to say about somebody, don't say anything at all. I mean, we were taught that all as what? Kids. And that's somewhat how I operate here. See, I want these children to think of their mother as a rock star, a greatest mother in the world. And I want them to think of their father that way too. And I can't have people saying things that are going to possibly jeopardize that, even though the professionals may weigh in with some other thought process. But I am of the opinion that people should not involve their children in that type of activity or those types of statements. It's very easy just to hold your tongue, hold both of your tongues until a time is when there's nobody, when the kids aren't there. So that's the way I operate with that. So I don't have a problem with the inclusion that Ms. Pogorsh put in her exhibit. I think it's exhibit 4 with that language. As far as the right of first refusal, I don't have those because they are ultimately problematic. I've seen some that if you can't be with the children for 6 hours, then it kicks in. 3 days it kicks in. 10 days, 1 week. My preference is to tell the parties that obviously if a party is going to be out of town and not able to exercise any time, the more prudent thing to do is maybe tell the other party that and say, hey, can we switch some days on and off? That's usually how it works. And that's how I think it should work in this case. So I'm not going to order a right of first refusal yet. But and it doesn't sound like this is a huge issue with that. If there's a problem with Mr. Wilson's mother and these children, then I think everybody should be involved in that discussion, because I don't want children to be nervous, stressed, scared, all that stuff when it comes to their paternal grandparents. The one, and as far as splitting the winter break, I want to split it equally. And if this becomes a problem, Ms. Wilson, that these chunks of time are not easy to get off from your employer, then you can bring that issue back to me and I'll do something else with it. But I think for now, I want to start with Ms. Pogorsh's equal during that time. I'm a little confused about the uniform child support order, because it seemed to me anyway that the friend of the court did, or the attorneys did, a dive into that, and then agreed that it would be a higher amount, and they deviated. And from what I read in your submissions, Ms. Wilson, you no longer want that. You want it to be what the friend of the court ordered originally, or am I reading that wrong?
Well, it wasn't written in, and he had been actually paying it, but it was causing stress to the situation because I would have to remind, etc. I'd prefer just to go through the friend of the court, and then there's no interaction about it. We don't have to talk about it. It can just be what is ordered from the friend of the court.
So, Ms. Pagorsh, I guess you're going to go back to the UCSO that's in the file dated March 14 of 2023, right?
That sounds like it, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, I did have one question. Sometimes I know that schools are starting earlier and then they have like days off around the Labor Day holiday. So if the Friday before Labor Day weekend is not a school day, what time do you want the parties to start?
I even checked that, Ms. Pagorsh, because I anticipated that question. And it appears anyway that the children would be in school on that
Okay.
Friday. Now, obviously, the parties are free to start it if they're not in school. One wants to start it at 8 in the morning. One wants to start it at after they get out of work. So if there's no school that day, make it noon.
Okay, thank you.
I am going to respectfully deny the request for attorney's fees. I thought long and hard about this. In essence, this, I believe, anyway, this is a problem of the party's own making, both parties. And I would hope that in the future, the parties understand that I am a firm believer in agreements between the parties and not coming to court. So I hope that that gives you some philosophy on what goes on. But if I find that people are being obstreperous, not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and causing this file to escalate, I won't hesitate. Can you prep that order, Ms. Pagorsh, please?
I will, Your Honor, and may I also add that Mr. Wilson is entitled to the 2 makeup days, as Ms. Wilson has acknowledged.
To be determined by the parties. I'm not going to weigh in on when those are going to be.
I did have a question before we go.
Okay.
The question about the right of first refusal, I had written in there, I was hoping for it to be ordered just when someone is out of town, so that it wouldn't be, whenever, to be very specific, because neither one of us are out of town very often. It could clarify it.
Yeah, I read that. I understood exactly where you're coming from that. I don't like rights of first refusal. They're very difficult to enforce, and quite frankly, it throws off the balance of what you two seem to have tried to do, and that's to make an equal allocation of the parenting time. However, as I said, if I find out that these out-of-town travels are going longer and are more frequent, you can knock on my door again, and I will consider it when that issue comes up. But I think I worry that these children are so young, and that everybody is kind of, you need to build in some time here for things that happen, because once your children start participating in sports, extracurricular activities, band, drama, all that kind of stuff, the parents have to be able to work around those things. And it's very difficult to do that when parents specify every hour of every day of where the children are. So I hope they take that into account. Ms. Pogorsh is going to prepare the order and send it to you, Ms. Wilson, for your signature. 7-day rule, Ms. Pogorsh, is that how you would prefer it, or?
Your Honor, I will try and work with Ms. Wilson. If we can't get it figured out, I'll send it under the 7-day.
Okay, very good.
Can I clarify that? Are we writing anything in there that we are going to offer the time if we're going to be out of town to the other parent?
No, that's just what I suggest the parties do.
Okay.
I'm not going to make that part of an order. I think the parties should do that. It makes more sense. But I will leave that up to the parties' capable hands. It's a pleasure meeting both of you. I've read a lot because everybody is pretty prolific in their submissions. But it's nice meeting both of you. I hope, don't take this the wrong way, I hope we don't bump into one another on a Friday morning again. Thank you both very much, Ms. Pogorsh. Always a pleasure. We're adjourned. Thank you.